Welcome to Kidpower's FAUX Chocoholic Frolic. I'm Sarah Sugarman, president of the board.
I'm Jan Isaacs-Henry, director and co-founder of Kidpower of Colorado.
We were really sad to have to cancel our Chocoholic Frolic because it's a major funding source for us. So your support is more important than ever so that we never have to turn a child away. If you're not sure how to bid, just go to the auction bidding info orange link on this page.
Because of the pandemic, we quickly moved Kidpower instruction online so that we could be accessible to families and educators until it's safe to do in-person classes. We know that with all that kids are experiencing right now, it is so important to help young people really feel their worth, discover their voices so that they can advocate for themselves and other people, and to learn emotional and physical safety skills. And that's what we do at Kidpower.
Here's more about why Kidpower is so important.
The world isn't a safe place. We all know that. And if we could somehow, from Colorado Springs to the state of Colorado, to what's happening in our nation, to what's happening in the bigger picture, to keep kids safe in a world that will always have challenges. And that's where I see Kidpower really impacting the greater good. And Kidpower gives your child the skills to stay safe when you're not there.
I love Kidpower. I love what you guys are doing. I love what you're offering to children. I love the skills that you're giving them. I feel like you are changing the lives of children.
A lot of organizations talk about empowerment. This organization, I've seen it in action. I've seen my own child take the training and then after coming out of that, demonstrate those skills. So I know that it's working.
You don't know how to explain certain things to your kids. You want them to be safe. You want them to be aware of strangers, of situations that are potentially dangerous. But you don't know how to tell them really in a way that doesn't scare them. And it doesn't have to be scary. I think that's the best thing about Kidpower. Kids can have fun, learning skills that will protect them from potentially very dangerous situations, but they're having fun.
Normally when I'm working with those families, whether those be child victims, whether or not they're families that have been victimized, that there are children within that family, I'm always encouraging them to go to Kidpower. And that encouragement comes from seeing and working with Kidpower and realizing what they can do for the kids. And Kidpower gives them back that security and that feeling of safety, and it just puts them on a good path to start that healing process. Working with Kidpower is just, it's a great thing. It's a small, quiet nonprofit that just goes about its work in our community, keeping kids safe, which means maybe I don't have to see those kids in the future as a victim of crime.
Kidpower is amazing. It teaches kids how to be safe, and I just feel more safer when I know Kidpower, because if something happens, and then we know what to do.
Many of the kids who need programs like these the most either don't have the financial wherewithal to do it, or the parent can't spare the money or that kind of thing. And here's a child, some of our kids in pretty hard situations, living with an entire family in a motel room or living around a lot of high-risk situations, are also the very kids who probably can't afford to come otherwise. And for something as critical as Kidpower to say there's no obstacle financially to you doing it enables the population, all kids need, but the population that needs this program the most is then enabled to have it. It's absolutely critical.
It's so important to have a resource like Kidpower because unfortunately kids' safety is at risk. And being able to, not in a scary way, in a really strength-based way, to help our kids and our families know that they can be prepared when they face any sort of situation, be it bullying, be it something going on the internet, be it abuse, that they have resources and that they have that capacity within themselves. Every community needs a resource like that.
Kidpower brings to the table the ability to train kids, to keep them from becoming victims, to teach them the tools that they need to interact in a difficult environment sometimes that schools are, that some of the things that these kids get into. So Kidpower is a key piece to a community engagement with our kids.
I think every family should go to at least one Kidpower class, and you probably go to more once you've gone to the first one, that you want more information and more tools for your toolbox, and more language to talk to your kids about things that are kind of scary. But Kidpower does it in a way that's not scary and engaging and fun, and they do learn a lot, and it stays with them.
So there's a little boy that I know about who took a Kidpower class, and he had been abused. And I saw him in this class, and he was really confident and strong and having a good time. And every time I see this picture of this little guy, it makes me want to cry, because it gives me hope that a child who has been harmed so terribly is going to be able to tap into what's there, what's innately theirs, and we help them get that back.
Kidpower just helps bring out like who you really are, because you need to learn how to say no to even if it's your best friend. You need to learn how to say no if you don't like what they're doing.
Kidpower never turns a child away because of finances, because they can't afford a class.
Some of the most touching ones for me have been the classes of kids and adults with differing needs, and how I see people who may not have felt like they had a voice or felt like they had a lot of control or power in their life get a hold of some of that, and they become stronger, powerful people.
As a dad, as a person who had a child that went through Kidpower, it was so cool to see my daughter kind of understand a lot of the components of taking care of herself and having that voice, and being able to know what's appropriate and not appropriate when dealing with other kids, with adults. And it makes me smile, and it makes me know that my kid can take care of herself, and I like that. I think that as a community, we should support Kidpower. It does a world of good, and it gives that front-end investment to our kids in the community, our future leaders.
Kidpower gives kids and also their grown-ups tools, language to use when they are just walking in the world. The very scenario-based, positive approach that we take to teaching these safety skills resonates with kids. Their schools believe in what Kidpower stands for, and they want, if it were possible, I think, to have Kidpower in every school, and you know, to expose every kid to Kidpower. I think the community would welcome that too, because the community has been such a huge support to Kidpower, and we would not be here if not for the community. So I would say thank you.